We are live.
Namaskar and welcome to the 54th episode of Gyan Pravah, a podcast series by our admirable and highly talented President Fogsi, Dr. Sunita Tandulwadkar. Who says that Pune is known only for Shaniwar Vada and Bakarwadi? Well, Pune is also known for our beloved President Fogsi, Dr. Sunita Tandulwadkar. And I take great pride in saying that we belong to the same city. Madam, you have put Pune onto the global map, and we can't thank you enough for it. Sunita, suave, untiring, notable and noteworthy, intelligent, talented, and admirable. I think these are only a few adjectives that I could think of to describe you today. Madam, as you are at the helm of Foxy, you're leading it so fantastically. You have looked after IAG, you're going to be the president-elect of ISAR, and you are, getting into the hearts and minds and thoughts of each and every gynecologist of India through these fantastic programs of Gyan Pravah, Sampurna, and so many others. Over to you, madam, for your words.
Thank you, Charu. Thank you. Thank you for a bifurcations of Sunita. This Gyan Pravah, Captain Sinha, this is another beautiful project of our Foxy. Apart from many other presidential activities which we do, sometimes they are just the social activities for the woman health, from adolescent to reproductive to menopausal and postmenopausal woman. There are many activities. You can visit the Foxy website and you will be able to see. But one of the very close to my heart is this, where Gyan Pravah, 8 p.m. every day, our committee chairperson do a beautiful job of 45 minutes. Just imagine 365 days, 365 leaders having their interview, dialogue with our brilliant chairpersons is one of the most important collection of intellectual collection, I should say, we will gather at the end of Foxy. I'm so glad, Charu, you have chosen absolutely out of the box. I think this field, I don't want to tell people who he is because it's your authority and I don't want to take it out from you. But I'm sure we are going to be in a different 45 minutes, in a different direction. The cricket match is going on as it is. We are very adventurous and cricket is like a religion. Today we will see the religion of water with us. So I'm sure we are going to enjoy. And Captain, welcome to the Foxy platform. I'm glad and I'm sure you must be on various other platforms, but this is one of the biggest intellectual platform. Our Foxy organization is of 46,000 gynecologists spread over 286 society. It's a brilliant organization. Our past presidents probably have worked so hard. I am the 63rd president. So everything has come at me in a platter and at right time when all is said, I have to just create the activities and I have to work with these diamonds. I always say the Foxy crown is full of diamonds. These 30 diamonds every month on the same date you will find. So if today is 23rd, Charu, I don't have a count of the day also. So every month on 23rd, Charu will be there and you will be able to listen to if you wish to do the particular. So all the Foxian and all the viewers who are there, I appeal you, whatever busy you are, just put the Bluetooth and hear my committee chairperson. They work very hard to have this dialogue. They select with tremendous interest the faculty which they feel will be the very different faculty, and there is a lot to learn from them, lot to follow with them. So thank you, Charu, for coming always with the brilliant ideas. Thank you, Captain, once more to be on a Foxy platform and making it to the another level.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sunita. It has been a privilege to be on this panel.
And while we pronounce the same word, Foxy, I'm also a Foxy. I'm 75th course NDA and also a Foxy. So I think in some way or the other, we have connected, and probably that's the reason why Charu picked on to me, picked me up for this particular podcast. I'm very, very grateful to be able to be on this show of yours, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, Charu.
Thank you. Sunita, madam, you're being very humble by saying that you've received anything on a platter. We know to what new heights you're taking, Foxy. And so thank you so much for taking us along with you. Navigating the Waves. That is the name of our podcast for today. And we have none other than Captain Atul Sinha, recipient of the Nausena Medal, with us today to interact on this fantastic podcast. Captain Atul Sinha is a distinguished naval officer with a career span of 30 years, characterized by dynamic leadership and exceptional human resource management skills. He has won close to 70 medals, madam, and one of them is the silver medal at the Asian Games. So I think he's a highly decorated officer, and we're really so happy to have him here today. He's the recipient of the Nausena Medal for devotion to duty at the hands of the President of India. He has been an integral part of Operation Vijay and Operation Parakram during the Pakistan War. He has trained over 1,500 naval officers, that's an immense number of officers. As the Director Operations, he coordinated rescue operations during tropical cyclone Taukti, saving 700 lives in May 2021. And now, one of the most important reasons why Captain Atul Sinha is a part of our podcast series today is that he has been the mentor for the all-women's team, Navika Sagar Parikrama. He has mentored all those young women sailors for their navigation through the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. We are so proud of you, Captain. He's retired today, but he continues to inspire young minds through motivational lectures. He also holds the Limca book record for fastest crossing across the South Atlantic in a sailboat. So, we are so proud and privileged to be speaking with you, Captain Atul Sinha. And thank you so much for being here with us. And you're going to be, answering many of the questions which we are so eager to listen to the answers from you. So, Captain Atul,
Thank you
when
very much for having me on board, Charu.
yeah,
Thank you. And thank you, both of you. And it's wonderful. And I'll join the another link and listen to the podcast. Thank you.
thank you,
Thank you
madam.
very much,
And
ma'am.
bye.
So, Captain Atul, when we were studying, and everybody at that time was only keen to become either a doctor, an engineer, or a chartered accountant, or were doing BA, BA and things like that. That was the standard courses which we were all taking up at that time. So, what made you become a naval officer? Did you have a naval background, or did you have an armed forces background, which made you become a naval officer?
Dr. Charu, I was also wanting to become a doctor, by the way. I, I did not get into, I was not as brilliant as the rest of you. And I did not make the grade at 96% for BJ Medical College. I wanted to be a heart surgeon because I've had two open heart surgeries in my family, one for ASD and one for VSD for my mother and my brother. And after having seen those, things, and at a very young age, I wanted to become a heart surgeon. And like what I said, I fell short of the mark by about 4%. 96% was the cutoff limit in those days. So I said, what best can I do next? तो बोला पढ़ना नहीं आता लिखना नहीं आता तो फौज ज्वाइन कर लो. So that's what I did. And anyways, that was on the lighter side. My father was posted at National Defense Academy. He was professor of English. He retired from there. And luckily for me, apart from the studies that we did at Loyola's of Ferguson College, I also had an exposure to various sports. I used to be a very good horse rider till the time I was, yes, in class six. And I was a very good swimmer. I crossed the Khadakwasta Lake, which is about 2 odd kilometers, way back in class 10th. But a day happened in my life and my father took me for sailing. And that day was the first day where I took to water like fish. And that is very unforgettable. At the same time, it is very vivid in my memory that the boat was heeling at an angle of about 15 degrees. I was being splashed by cold water of the Kadapasa Lake, which was so fresh as in those days. Lovely breeze on a lightning boat, and I just could not resist the temptation of wanting to know more and learn more. And with a little bit of guidance from I would from my seniors and a whole lot of support from the naval training team. And I would definitely want to mention Commander S.T. Ali's name, late Commander S.T. Ali's name, who ensured that being a civilian son, I got an opportunity to represent NDA at the nationals. And you won't believe it, I became a national champion at the age of 13.
Oh my God.
And I became, that was in the junior class, in the Optimist class. And then I went on to win the Laser Nationals in the standard class at the age of 18, which is the youngest national champion in the country. And I still hold that record. The only person who's second to that is, if I remember correctly, is Upamanyu Datta. He won it at 18 and a half years. I was an India cadet when I won my nationals, and I was very lucky. The forces thereafter inspired me to do better. And because I grew up in India and I saw the grandeur of the Sudan bloc, and I saw defense officers go past me and see a lot of cadets doing, becoming from boys to men, it inspired me to take on the same path.
Wow, Captain Atul, that's what I said. No, in 11th and 12th, you hardly know each other and speak with each other. And I didn't know so many achievements of yours. So, indeed, once again, I'm so happy to have you on this podcast. So,
Thank you very much, ma'am.
you have worked for close to 30 years in the Naval Force, and such a long career. You must have had so many, what do you say, adrenaline releasing episodes in your life, and so many times when things must have been so difficult, or it must have been even life threatening probably occasionally. So can you just share with us some of the moments which really caught you on a back foot maybe, but you just seared ahead and did the job at your at the sea?
Well, over here, I joined India at the age of 18 and 34 years of service to our motherland for the Navy, and I retired at 56. So in these years, I did about good 34 years of Adam jobs, being in the executive cadre. Did about 14 odd years on operational warships, and being a naval officer, I qualified myself to be a navigator and a fighter controller. That means I used to navigate warships from point A to point B. I used to also be like your chief operations officer, where we have to coordinate all the activities that happen while we are on board a particular ship. Now, many of the viewers will be wanting to know, what do we do actually do at sea,
Yeah.
when there is no war happening? We train for war, and the Navy's training is so good. It is second to none in the world. And I must say that our training at NDA itself is so strong, it makes a man out of a boy. And that is a training that stood me in very good stead all through my career. Uh, Naval life, 14 years of operations time, 12 years of training time, and 34 years of administrative time. The Navy gave me a very all-rounded kind of a personality. And there were very, very many moments when I felt that, like what you said, not on the back foot, but it was very challenging.
Yes.
Operation Parakram was very challenging. Vijay was very challenging. We had to be on warships. We had to be awake 24 by 7, doing our duties. And like the Navy taught us, honor, duty, and courage. That is the motto that we live by. And we did live by that motto.
Yes,
Bad
doctors,
weather.
that only doctors have to work 24 by 7. But I mean, this is so interesting to hear that you people in the forces, who protect our borders, are so vigilant and so alert 24 by 7. So we are really raring to hear from you about one of these operations.
Oh, I could give you an operation from the naval life that I had. I can give you an operation from the adventure life which I took on later on in my life. Because once I joined the Navy, obviously my sailing, the hobby took a back seat, and I came into the mainstream of the Indian Navy. I did sailing, just to give you a comparison of the two. when I was a young officer, I was continuing to sail and went on to represent India as well in way back in 91. And it was my father's dream to, wear an India blazer. And when he saw me at the India blazer in at the 2010 Asian Games, he was sincerely very proud after having represented the country in 91 as well. So I was on the Indian team for a very, very long time. But then the Navy called us and then they specialize you. So I did a dual specialization. One was in navigation and direction. Navigation, like what I told you that we do. We are also into, apart from navigating warships from place A to place B, we also look at missile firings and various other things that we do. Then I took on my second specialization of nuclear biological warfare, including damage control and firefighting. So I did 2 tenures of that, and I also commissioned, warships, and I also commissioned sail ships, which was the INS Tarangini. It's a bark rigged sailing vessel, and we used to have as many as about 21 to 45 cadets, and we used to train them in seamanship and various other things. There were many moments in my life which I had my heart in my mouth. Once was on INS Tarangini when we were going through a storm in the Gulf of Mannar. We had to. It's a square rig sailing vessel. So, like the olden times, if you see those big ships that used to fight amongst each other, the square rigger, tall mast, three mast, four main, and the mizzen mast, and then you have those yard arms, which keep going up, and then we had to climb on top of the yard arms to take the sails in. So when the weather got bad, we had to actually climb up about good 35 meters, walk
What?
onto the yard arm,
35
okay, which
meters?
about 35 meters
My God.
above your deck, above the surface of the vessel. And it's bad weather, so it's obviously honking 40 knots, which is 80 kilometers an hour. And it's raining, it's inclement weather, and the sea is about 3 to 5 meter high. So it can be about 9 feet to 15 feet high. So the boat is tossing and turning, and we are, rolling from side to side by about 35 degrees. And at that time, you are on top of the topmost yardam, which is the royal, and you're standing on a wire, and you're holding onto that yardam, and you're pulling up the sail with the next hand. So there were times when the boat used to roll, and I used to be out of the ship,
Shit.
and then used to go like a pendulum on the other side. We used to always think, oh my, it's like, how you stand on a 10-meter board and the swimming pool looks very small. There's just 10-meter board, right? And
Yes,
now I'm standing 35 meters high, 3 times that height.
actually.
And then can you imagine what my boat would look like? And I can see the sea, which is all full of white horses.
Yes.
So those are the times when you lose confidence in your hand, in your grip, and then you actually hold on to the, yardam with your elbow, and you hang on for dear life,
My
and you
God.
continue to work, irrespective of whether you're feeling seasick or not. Those were the younger days. So, the Navy trains us to be very, very tough, to be able to take decisions under stress, to be
Yes,
able to take quick decisions and the right decisions like doctors do. They have very, very challenging situations in the OT. And
absolutely.
I'm sure you must have been. We have to do the same. We have to know how to think under pressure. And therefore, I feel, our leadership entails professional knowledge. And that is the first thing that comes to my mind, to be professionally competent to know what is to be done. And therefore, once we go to sea, we train so that we know what is to be done at what kind of a time. Similar instances were there during my Op Vijay time and Op Parakram time. Uh, there are a lot many more stories. 34 years in just 34, 3 minutes is difficult to
I know.
compress. But please go ahead.
Absolutely. So, as you rightly said, performing under pressure, you have a woman who's just delivered and she's bleeding torrentially. So, as you rightly said, you have to have the professional know-how as to how exactly you have to go ahead with the whole thing. And calling for help is what we doctors do. So, you also must be having a team who supports you completely, and the call for help is looked after or attended to, right?
Absolutely. You're absolutely. So we have to be proactive. That's something that the Navy teaches us. Don't be reactive, be proactive. Think ahead, and plan for the worst. You'll always be ready for anything that is going wrong. And don't have one plan. Have plan Alpha, Bravo, Charlie.
Oh my
Ha-
God.
Have 3 steps of redundancy at any given point in time if one doesn't work, the second will work. If the second fails, the third will work, or one of them will definitely work. And you can keep alternating between all the three plans. So
Wow.
you be flexible and you have different kinds of plans and you have rehearsed all of them and you know how to jump from one to the other. Be proactive and be realistic, be truthful and learn to accept what's happening. Do not be very fixated. No, this is the only way that has to be done. Listen. So we change in our leadership styles. And then just to give an example from one of my, sailing expeditions, which I had, I'm, s- I was taking on this ocean sailing. I set up the ocean sailing node, which is the only node in the country, and where I mentored the six girls who went around the globe.
Yeah, we're going to
And they
do that.
not
Yes.
only, yes, they not only crossed the Atlantic or the Indian Ocean, they also crossed the Pacific and went south of all the three capes. There were times when you have to tell yourself what kind of a leadership do you want. So I landed up in Cape Town, and that was because once I took onto that chair, I wanted these my team to respect me, and I can only do that if I have done what they are doing. Because I came in after they had been trained for a little while, and then I trained them from 2016 to 2018, and I mentored these six girls who went on to win the Nari Shakti and the Tenzing Norgay Awards in 2018 for successfully circumnavigating the globe during Navika Sagar Parikrama 1. So I said, if these girls have got about 2,000 miles under their belt, and I've got 35 years of experience of sailing, I'm sure I'll be able to take on this passage. And I chose to participate in the Cape to Rio race. So I flew down to Cape Town. Now that was the challenge. I was sitting on the boat called INSV Madhai, Indian naval sailing vessel, Madhai, which is just 24 tons and 56 feet long. It's got
Okay.
a mast of 25 meters only. I was sailing that boat for the first time. I
Okay.
had never crossed the South Atlantic Ocean in my life. I was doing that for the first time. I had chosen a crew which was new to me. They did not know me and I did not know them.
Oh,
It was a completely brand new team. I was all going to operate with them, crossing the Atlantic Ocean of 4,000 nautical miles.
wow.
And I had only 1 week to prepare for it between 23rd of December to first, I mean, to 1st of January. 1st of January was the race in 2017.
Okay.
And you won't believe it. All I did was I asked for a little bit of training, which the Navy obviously helped us to achieve through Jerry Heggie, who was the 2011 Cape to Rio race winner. And
Okay.
I trained with them under the team, and he came to me after the training and said, Atul, all the very best. This is going to be difficult, eh? So anyway, I said, he said, don't push your team. Take it slow, okay? They're all great.
Wow.
Take it slow. So that was a reality check. I've not done it. New team. I'm doing things on the first time. You won't believe it. We started in a storm of 32 knots. It's about 60 kilometers an hour winds.
Oh my.
Lasted for about 5 days. Right? One of my winches got uprooted. They repaired that. Beautiful team. Changes of leadership style is what I was talking about. Sometimes I had to be authoritarian. Sometimes I had to be democratic. Sometimes I had to be, open to everyone's view and take my own decision. I had a fantastic team, and two of these girls was from the team from Navika Sagar Parikrama. Fantastic girls, and you won't believe it. Women have such fantastic resilience. They have such mind power, and they are able to multitask at the same time. They're wonderful, and they're better than men. A lot of men need to learn a lot from women.
I think that's a good sentence that you have said. And you
Yes,
believe close to 80 to 85% of gynecologists are women, and they
yes,
do perform under pressure and they do great work for society. So
and
thank you for saying that.
yes, and you won't believe it. And because I did not know my team, the steering that I handed over to in those trying times, because my my own fatigue was setting in after 24 hours. So
God,
I continued till about 30 hours or 36 hours. But
stronger
after that,
than
I had to choose someone, and I chose a woman.
Oh,
And I
fantastic.
chose Swati, and she held on. So between the two of us, we kept alternating, and we went through those 5 days. And I was taking doggy naps at the wheel, and I was doing my nature's call over there. And this girl was so talented. She was so quick in uptake, and she was so nice and resilient. And she was so focused. Women are so focused. They can multitask at the same time. And I think they are very compassionate and very empathetic, and they understand things so well And during trying times, I think you can always bank on a woman.
Oh my
And
God, that is so well said. That is so well said. And, saying it on this kind of a podcast, is going to inspire so many women out there who keep, negating themselves or thinking
no, no,
themselves
no, no.
a little less than their male counterparts, probably. But you saying this on what do you say, national webinar makes a lot of sense. And I really appreciate you saying this about women. So why don't we come to this question as to how did you get about mentoring women for this sailing task? I mean, what made you think that women would be right for it or good for it? And how did it all just happen? We need to know.
So it wasn't my
Want to
dream.
train
It was
women.
the dream. It wasn't my dream. It was the dream of late Vice Admiral Avati. He was a visionary, and he was the reason why the ocean sailing node got set up in the Indian Navy. His dream is yet to be we are progressing towards it, yet to be realized. He wants a single girl to go around the world.
Oh,
Presently, there are two of them doing that. Right
I
now,
think,
they are,
Atul, Captain, why don't we ask our support team to play that wonderful video which those girls have sent?
yes.
Shall
And
we ask them?
this is Rupa and Dilna who are in the Pacific Ocean right
Yes.
now.
We'll see
They were
that
my
video.
mentor.
We'll see that.
They were my trainees. Yes.
Oh, we'll see that video and then we'll come back to our
Sure,
discussion.
sure, sure.
Support.
We're currently sailing in South Atlantic Ocean and the weather has been rough. Unfortunately, no too many colors to celebrate fully, but the sea has ensured that we get wet today. Happy Holi.
Oh my God, it just got, shivers. Absolutely. I'm having goosebumps at the way those two young girls are out there in that rough sea. And what a beautiful video that was, Captain. And we are so proud of the girls, and we are proud that you took up the task of mentoring these girls. So over to you to talk about this journey of yours about mentoring women to sail these dreadful seas.
Yes, and I would like to congratulate these girls for their courage and for their, you saw the smile on the face.
Oh
They're
my
just not,
God.
undeterred,
Genuine,
undeterred.
genuine.
And let me tell you, they've been sailing for over 30 days, day and night
God,
continuously,
my
without a halt.
my
And that is
God.
the kind of weather. So that is what the sea does for you. It teaches you character building. It makes you a stronger person, mentally, physically, and you're able to think on your feet, and you're able to stay in the moment and give in your best. So to come back to the question that you asked, how did I take on to mentoring these girls? Well, it was the dream of late Vice Admiral Avati of setting up the ocean sailing node, and it fell into my lap because at that point in time, the gentleman who was training them in the absence of this node was set to retire, and the Navy. Since I was a national champion, a multiple times national champion, and over 35 years of sailing experience and over 70 medals, including 7 international medals and an Asian Games medal. And recently, I had set up the Watermanship Training Center at the Indian Naval Academy, which today is one of the best in the country. So the Navy thought that I would be able to set up this kind of a node and also be able to mentor these girls. And take them to fructification to be able to do a voyage successfully. So on the 16th of August in 2016, 26th of August 2016, I set up the ocean sailing node. And a year later, these girls took on to the voyage commencing in October and thereafter finishing in May of 2018. These girls were chosen from, they were volunteers. The Navy had asked for volunteers, and these girls were chosen after a very rigorous process. They were set through, they were put through a very professional grind, and they were taught at various schools of the Indian Navy. And then we put them into a graduated training format where they did shorter sorties. That means sailing overnight, sailing sorties, where they went for day sorties first and then they did night sorties. And thereafter, which was for shorter distances earlier, 50 miles, then 200, and then 400, 600, and then 1600, and so on. We also made them sail during monsoons to Mauritius and back and to Maldives and back. And those conditions gave them a feel of bad weather, like what you just saw in the video.
Yes.
And apart from that, sailing is not just sailing the boat, it is also navigation, it is also seamanship, it is also ship husbandry, it is also having the knowledge of the weather and the waves and the tidal conditions and so on and so forth. So they had about 20,000 nautical miles. We insured, I mean, the Navy insured, and I was the officer in charge of the ocean sailing note, the only officer who ensured that all the aspects were covered, right from boat preparation to redundancy and having a plan A, plan B, and a plan C, having the repairs in place, the ports of call, whether the support staff, what the support staff had to do, right down from, designing the crest for the voyage and the clothing that they had to wear at sea when they were offshore and onshore. Everything was taken care of. And I would definitely laud the Navy for supporting us to be able to achieve a very successful Navika Sagar Parikrama 1. Thereafter, taking the dream of Admiral Avati forward, the Navy decided to have, instead of 6 women, have 2 women together. So during that year before last, I trained these girls for about 10,000 nautical miles, and then we put them into the hands of Commander Abhilash Tommy, retired, who's also a renowned ocean sailor and a silver medalist at the Golden Globe race. I have tremendous regard for that gentleman. He has achieved a lot himself. So, and this 10,000 nautical miles that I sailed with these girls, I took them on. Before me, there were other officers from the Navy who trained them, Captain Vipul Maharishi, then Commander Hegde. They also were instrumental in training these girls. Incidentally, I had the longest passage. So I sailed from Goa on the 21st of November of 2000, a year before last. And thereafter, we landed up in Cochin because the boat had just come out of refit. We had some problems, and then I took a halt in Kochi. And then on 22nd of November, I sailed out to arrive in Cape Town on 25th December. 32 days straight out at sea from Kochi to Cape Town to South Africa.
Wow.
Went through 14 storms.
Oh gosh. My God.
And 3 times I had my heart in my mouth, and we would have really not made it. And it was years of experience and instinct. And those are the times when you start, when I actually start chanting the Ganesh Aarti. I believe a lot in Ganesh Ji.
Wow.
And I don't go anywhere without him. He comes with me on my boat. And when things go wrong, I just, he's the problem solver. I give him everything and I submit myself to him, and he
Yes.
takes me out of. So
Like
I was
Sunita Williams
chanting.
said that Sunita Williams also said that she had the Bhagavad Gita with her in space. So I think it is that almighty force which definitely guides us and gets us through so many problems. So that's a great
Yes,
thing you.
and this was especially when when I was my boat was falling backwards, and we would have capsized bow first on an 8-meter high wave and 52 knots of winds, 100 plus kilometers an hour winds in breaker waves south of Mossel Bay, which is just south of the South African continent. You have breaker waves over there, which are known to have broken ships, commercial ships. And for some reason, our autopilot just gave away, and the boat had swung into the oncoming wave. And I was and the boom had got stuck on the wrong side. I had buckwinded in the naval parlance, and I was falling backwards. and I had to just take on to the wheel and do the right thing and steer her backwards and get her back onto track. And that's the time when I started chanting my Ganesh Chaturthi's Aarti, Ganeshi's Aarti. And he got me out of it. Huh? So this is not once, it has happened 2 or 3 times. And after we came into Cape Town Harbor, then we participated in the Cape to Rio race. And there too, after the 8th day, when I was coming in the top 5 of the Cape to Rio race in 2023, the mast broke.
Acha.
There is a very strong, about as thick as this, as my index finger. It is a rod. It's 20 times stronger than steel. That broke,
Oh my God. Oh my
and
God.
the mast could have fallen. It's a 25 meter tall mast, about 950 kilos.
Oh my God.
And I sailed for 700 nautical miles for 6 days, and to arrive at an island in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, Saint Helena Island, where Napoleon Bonaparte lays
Yes,
to rest.
yes, yes.
Yes. So I landed up in that island, did my repairs for 7 days, and then I continued the journey to South America. All this time, Rupa and Dilna was there with me. And so they saw about 10,000 miles of good sailing through the South Atlantic, through the Indian Ocean, 14 storms, breakages, wreckage, whatever that you could ask for. We went through some very, very bad weather and severe weather. And today they are doing a feat for which they will be known for the rest of their lives. And they will feel, you know, they'll feel very lonely once they come back into civilization. They will want to go back, and I can promise you that, because life at sea changes people and changes lives, and that is a calling that and these girls have already got that calling. And look at the strength, and look at the courage, and look at the resilience
Of
that these girls
physical,
have. Fantastic.
yeah,
Hats off to them.
yeah, so much of physical and mental strength. I think, even as doctors, sometimes I feel whether we should be doing some kind of rigorous training for the mind and the body so that you can withstand all these, pressures, and you can think on your feet. And of course, we do it. Most of the times we do. But I think hats off to those fantastic girls who are doing such a great job out there at sea.
Yes, ma'am.
And
And I would say over here, the girls, while they can't match the physical strength of a man,
okay.
but they compensate with their intelligence and their focus.
Wow, wow, so well said. So well said, Captain. I think that's a fantastic take home message for all the women out there who are
All,
listening to
yes,
this podcast.
their hard work, their intelligence, and their focus and self-belief, that
Oh,
they cannot fail,
wow, wow. I
that they
really
can't fail.
appreciate all
Yes,
these.
and I'm saying this from my heart, and I'm getting goosebumps because I've seen it. I've
Yes,
seen this girl. When you're sailing on board and you're facing the mighty ocean, nature is all powerful.
correct.
I have always taught them one thing, protect yourself and protect your boat. You protect the boat protects you.
Oh,
Okay? It's a symbiotic relationship.
beautiful, beautiful. So well said.
And you have to learn to listen to nature. Something that we forget in our day and age today. We have got the mobile, we have got, the IPL going on, we have got people, we have got responsibilities. Girls have got so much to do. They can be mothers, sisters, brothers, they can be everybody. But once they're there with themselves, their senses are, when I'm at sea, my senses are so alert.
Mm,
I don't actually sleep as the skipper of the yacht. The boat talks to me, nature talks to me. It gives you telltale signs. You
wow.
have to learn to live in harmony with nature, use nature to your advantage. Nature is all powerful, and it humbles you at the end of the day. It
Absolutely.
humbles you down, it
Totally.
humbles you. You are made to feel like a minuscule ant.
Wow.
You're worse than an ant. You actually don't belong. It's nature that prevails. If you understand what nature is speaking to you,
Beautiful.
you will always succeed in life. Always. You have to learn to listen to it. And it treats you at par. Girl or a boy, man or a woman, it does not differentiate.
True.
Nature does not differentiate.
Wow.
A successful man, a
Mountain.
person who's wanting to learn, it's taught me. It's taught me, how to remain in the moment.
Oh my God. I really, really appreciate all these fantastic thoughts that you're sharing with all of us viewers, because it means a lot to us. And yes, you have to accept things and you have to move ahead, listening to nature. That makes a whole lot of sense. So in during all these, adventures that you've been having, did you ever face any physical injuries?
Oh
Did
yes, I did, and this was my retirement gift to myself, and I quite joke about this, though. I mean, please, it's meant to be a joke. I literally got screwed in France quite recently. Okay, and I offered myself a retiring gift. I went for this World Championship, which was the maiden offshore double-handed mixed crew World Championship, which was in Loggia, in west of France, in the Bay of Biscay, which is in the North Atlantic Ocean. I had already sailed in the South Atlantic, and my crew was a woman, and we were doing extremely well. We started off the race. I was leading the race till about we started the race at 4 o'clock till about 7:30 in the evening, 3.5 hours, 4 hours. I was coming first by about a mile.
Oh,
Then I dropped down to the third, and the we were warned about the cold fronts coming in from the west, and North Atlantic can be extremely nasty. While I was going upwind, I was going towards the destination from where we had to take a U-turn, which was about 80 miles ahead of us, about 160 kilometers ahead. I noticed that there were sharks in the water. The water was very, very cold. The cold fronts were already coming in. So we were all clothed in, wet weather clothing. And the weather was about 10 to 11 degrees at that point in time. So 2:30 in the night, I got broached very badly, and I got hit by about a 3 to 4 meter high wave. And suddenly the winds went up to 80 kilometers an hour, 40 knots, and my boat veered to come into irons, and I broached on a incoming rogue wave, and I got thrown
oh,
from the place where I was sitting. And to prevent myself from getting into the water in the pitch of the night,
yes.
okay,
Shark
in
in
that kind of
the
yes, I held on to the steering wheel, which is called the tiller, and I managed to go and hit the guardrail, which I had a feel of in my subconscious mind. I hit the guardrail and I fell down. And when I fell down, my boat was completely at an angle of about 35, 40 degrees, and I could see Niagara Falls in my boat. I got onto my knees, and my crew was screaming at me and saying, "Sir, the tiller!" I lifted my hand only to realize my hand had broken. My radius had broken into 5 pieces, and my hand was hanging.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That
2:30
was
in the night.
my God.
Okay, 40 knots of breeze. I grabbed the tiller with my right hand, and I got her back into action, and then I got her to steer the course of 085 towards harbor. I had a lighthouse to guide me by. And
Okay.
thanks to the Indian Navy's training and my being a navigator, everything that the Navy had taught me to think under pressure, to be able to use my navigation skills and everything, I came back into harbor with a broken hand, and I sailed in those conditions for 3.5 hours to enter harbor at 6:30 in the morning. And French Coast Guard, I had alerted the distress signal. I had sounded the distress signal. The French Coast Guard responded instantly, and they said, "Can we come and rescue you?" I said, "How much time will you take?" He said, 1.5 hours. I said, "No way you can come in this weather. It's pitch dark. The waves are about 10 feet high, 80 kilometers an hour winds. I can't even stand up. I can't even balance." So I had tied myself to the boat, and I
Oh,
was steering on autopilot, and I was giving directions to steer her to autopilot to my crew. And that being a woman, she was taking in all the instructions, and I popped in a brufen, all right, at that point in time.
that's it. Just a
And
brufen
I
for
just
the
one brufen
bone pain, bone
for the
fracture.
bone pain, and I lifted my hand and I squeezed it between my thigh and my stomach, and I sat over there and I said, "Tie me to the boat," and I navigated through all those cardinal marks, and uh, it was
My
quite a thing.
goodness. That is
And
such
for 3.5 hours, I sailed with a broken hand to come back into harbor, where the Frenchies thereafter came back and they lifted me out of the boat. The next day, they operated me. Uh, they gave me the same day in the morning, they gave me ketamine. They
yes,
gave me morphine first,
yes,
and then they gave me a ketamine, and I blew off. My head blew. Literally, I don't know what it was.
yes,
And they
yes.
reduced my hand, and they tied me up, And the next day they put a titanium plate, which was 6 inches long. That's
Oh,
my scar.
it's healed
I
very
have a
beautifully.
titanium plate now,
But a good
and
job.
they put 12 screws over there. So
Oh.
I very casually joke that I got screwed in France. That's the way I joke about it. So
But
that was quite an episode. Yeah.
it was quite an episode, and hats off to you for managing to sail for 3.5 hours with such a broken arm. And I mean, the
I would
resilience.
thank the Navy for this. I
Wow.
would thank the Indian Navy and the training that they have given us to be able to think under pressure, even in the worst case of scenario. And with 40,000 nautical miles of sailing experience under my belt on a sailboat, this was thanks to that
Wow.
experience which the Navy, gave me, and the training that the Navy gave me. That I was hats off to Indian Navy for this. I mean,
Absolutely. So
phenomenally
you
fantastic.
have won so many medals, so many medals. I'm sure you don't have space to keep them all, but there must have been some medal which was very precious to you, very close to your heart. So we want you to share about that. Which medal?
Well, there are a whole lot of these medals. Well, the Asian Games silver medal is very, very close to
Yes,
my heart.
yes.
The Shiv Chhatrapati Shivaji Award, which the government of Maharashtra gave me for excellence in for the sport of sailing, that is very close to my heart. The Nausena medal, which I received from the President of India, is very close to my heart. The 7 international medals, including a gold medal at the in England. I stayed in England in the Isle of Wight for about a month. I trained under their national coach and defeated their national team in
Oh,
1 month's time.
are you serious?
I'm serious. So it's
That
the
must have been
same.
a sweet victory, but I'm sure that
It's
you,
a very, very sweet
yes,
victory, and
so
Sam didn't like it. Sam didn't like it at all because he said, "How can you do this?" I said, "You keep us in your country and train under your national coach. We are going to defeat you." So that was very good. Yeah,
Oh, wow, really
it
fantastic.
was the open match racing national championship in UK, which is equivalent to which is the same thing as what Syed Modi had won in
Ah,
badminton. He had
yes,
won the badminton gold. I
yes.
won the badminton. I won the sailing
Really
gold
good. Wow,
in
really
the same championship.
so happy to hear that. So, I think that, we have spoken so much with you. We can keep on speaking even more. But one important question that I always feel is that where does the Indian Navy stand when you think about the entire world's naval forces? Like,
I think I'll borrow the line of coordinator Rakesh Sharma when he was asked by Indira Gandhi. When he was on the moon and he asked him, Bharat kaisa dikhta hai? I would say Indian Navy sare jahan se acha.
oh
Yeah,
my
I would say the
God.
same thing for Indian Navy as
Thank
well.
you so much. Thank you
I
so much.
think we are the most competent Navy in the world. We are the best Navy and we are the fastest growing. And we are a fantastic service. And there's second to none. We are doing a wonderful job and the Navy is in very, very safe hands.
Oh my goodness, so nice to
Sare
hear
jahan se
that.
acha.
And we relax even further as we sleep safely in our homes while there are so many things going along along the coasts and you all are patrolling them and looking after us. Thank you so much for all that. So, tea or coffee at sea?
Tea,
Okay.
anytime.
Okay. A book or a movie about the Navy that actually gets it right.
K-19 is a fantastic movie. It's a shot on a submarine.
Isn't it?
The book I would say is A Race Too Far, which is about Robin Knox Johnston winning his Golden Globe race by Carl Eakin, which is written. It's a lovely book.
Oh,
And a movie I would say Adrift,
yes, yes.
When Jessica Watson went around the world. She was um, a young girl of I think 16 years when she went around the world in I think 2009 or 10.
Okay.
Yeah, so those three things I would say. And yeah,
Wow. And one thing about the Navy life that civilians just cannot understand.
that's a tough one. They can't understand. I I think they would not be able to understand how we operate with maximum efficiency, with zero errors,
Hmm.
on a moving platform.
Oh, well said. Well said. You're even, navigating ourselves in a car, even on the streets of Pune is we find so difficult. So we really wonder how you find your way around in the seas because we when we go for a small cruise or a small trip on a sea, we just cannot understand north, south, east, west also, and you all are just navigating yourselves so beautifully.
Yeah, we use the sun and the stars and the moon and stuff like that, and we use the astro navigation as we call it. And in the times of war, it is only astronavigation that's going to help you and save you. And it's lovely to be out at sea. Huh? You can actually see your own galaxy. You can see the
Yes,
Milky Way.
I'm sure you can see the Milky Way. I'm quite sure you can see that.
Yes, because it's all dark and there are
Yes.
many phenomena, bioluminescence.
Oh, you in the
If-
sea.
Yes,
Bioluminescence.
if you've seen the movie The Life of Pi, they have
Yes,
shown
yes,
bioluminescence.
they have shown
I
bio.
have witnessed it. I
Oh,
have witnessed it.
oh
My
my.
sails lit up. It was like amazing. It was like I was sitting in the middle of a radium dial.
Oh my goodness.
It is so scary. It is so beautiful. It is inexplicable. And the stars have come into the ocean and they merge. Everything merges. You become one. And that's the place where I would like to rest, I think, for eternity. I think
My
it is
goodness.
so beautiful.
Captain Atul Sinha, we have enjoyed speaking with you so much, and we feel that this podcast should just not end, and we should just keep talking and talking. But I think I'll have to call you over home for that and have a much more lengthy discussion there also. But we are indeed blessed and honored to have you as a guest for our Gyan Pravah podcast series. And I think you've inspired so many minds today, especially the women, by talking about their positive qualities and making sure that they have self belief. And I really wish that each and every woman out there uh, realizes her true potential and makes the most of it.
Well, there is no doubt in my mind, and I would want to wish all the lovely doctors, and they're doing a wonderful job. Thank you. I am one of those citizens of this country who would like to actually thank you for the COVID times, for the other tough times, and the daily times, and the daily stresses and strains that you go through, managing work, managing hospital, managing patients, and being so compassionate and so empathetic towards them, and also being able to look after your home and look after your career. And you are so multifaceted and such strong women. Thank you so much to all you doctors. And I would also take this opportunity to wish the Birla and Rupa the very, very best. They should be touching harbor somewhere in early April at Cape Town, a place where I've been 2 or 3 times. And after that, they are going to be homeward bound. And I'm sure they are also heading for a Nari Shakti. And the Prime Minister would, speak very, very high of them,
Yep.
as he did speak about the NSP-1 crew, and he mentioned about them from the ramparts of the Red Fort on the 15th of August of 2018. He did made a mention of them, and he spoke to them in person as well through the Wi-Fi connectivity. And incidentally, that is something that I had innovated when I was doing my first Cape to Rio race. I installed Wi-Fi on board and I said, let the world know what they are doing.
Yes.
So it was fantastic, and the Navy bought the idea and they went out of the way to make it happen. And today we can actually get these videos from sea and actually feel so inspired and motivated by the courage and the resilience and the perseverance of these girls. Fantastic, and remain focused, have belief, and continue to work hard is all I can say. And thank you very much for having me on board.
Thank you so much, Captain Atul. And with that, we
Thank
say
you, ma'am.
goodbye to all our viewers. And thank you for joining us. Thank you once
Thank you
again.
very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to your agency as well. Good day.
Good day.
Bye-bye.